This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons, like Chris, Dalamud Papodo, Scry de la Rosa, Reinhard Chikara, Lilium Tenebrae, Kylin, Ignal the Dragon, Erisu Yamakawa, Jamie Assur, Elim, Lily Black, Cheshire Saltiri, Meili Algren, Cecirivula Lirifu, Ariel, Courtney, Daimos, Casey Schaefer, and Omega Cat Comet. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Hello!
Wow, that was so...
Hello, everyone! Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 115. I accidentally pushed my button too soon. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 115. I'm Lukiel Bravestone. I'm joined today by Yas Pot, Rollo Des, and Mela Vanadar. Woo!
Did you guys see that new intro? What was that?
I don't know.
Pot.
It's
What? The jar.
the funny thing. Dude, we've been going so long without you ever
Yeah,
mentioning
but they all
that jar.
fell in one go. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to our
definitely
audio
mention that
listeners who have never seen the fucking jar. I'm so sorry. Anyway,
Yeah, but
Listen, audio
just
people,
pop in, just
come
to
to a
see it.
stream just one time or watch it on YouTube and they'll.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Don't look at our faces though. That'll break the immersion.
Don't look
Yeah,
at
Don't
my
do
for
face.
sure.
that. Don't do that.
I'm not
If
wearing
you
my
knew
glasses
how I
today.
looked, oh my god.
You'd be disgusted.
Yeah. Funny thing about the intro, I was because we've and you'll see that when we sign off today, because the outro is still the same, because it's the reason I went in there was because I wanted to change the copyright text at the bottom because it says 2017. It's been saying that all year, but I realized to my horror that the whole project file was gone for the intro, so I didn't have the intro, so I had to make it from scratch. And I thought, okay, maybe change it because it's been the same since 2015.
When's the last time you've been in Kerfus?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the play hour. Remember, guys? Come on.
Yeah. So welcome to episode 115. It is October 20th, 2018. Today we're going to, again, there's another interview with Koji Fox, Yoshi-P, and Soken.
Is this one a little newer though?
This
hopefully?
one's from MonsterVine. Actually, that's a good question.
I hope
It
it's
has
something like
recent-
something like Gamescom again or something.
From 2015.
This was from 2013. Congratulations on the launch of A Realm Reborn. No, this one just recently surfaced, so I'm going to assume it might still be from
It's
Gamescom.
October 17th it was published.
Yeah, so it's pretty recent.
3 days fresh off the press.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of interviews, did you guys see that the other guys from the last interview commented on the video? Or
Oh
the
yeah, I saw
podcast
Fat
last week?
Chocobo. I
Did
saw.
they?
Yeah.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. So
Did they demand
you guys
money?
did a good interview. I like you guys. I hope you have more real questions.
yeah, I like
So,
that.
Yeah.
Also,
That's awesome. Yeah.
also a postman commented as well, and he
Oh,
said
mailman.
that if he was delivering his own package, he would just throw it into his home. He would just sign off and put it in. So
Okay.
there's no problem.
He's like, it's not a big deal. You're
Sometimes
overthinking it.
on good days, he even
Oh.
said he would just have lunch in his home. He would just go home and have lunch.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you for letting
That's
us know.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Shout out to all the postmen out
Yeah,
there.
shout
I hope
out.
you're
Yeah.
lunch at home right now.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about the interview. That's from MonsterVine. We'll give a quick review on Old Saints Wake 2018, and we'll read some MogMail. Send us MogMail at speakersxv.com/MogMail as usual. In the post show, who knows, dude? So I've been professional podcast. The Remnants in Store have been pushed back because, as you probably noticed yesterday, I was sick. I kind of still am. But I think I have, or at least had, bronchitis.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think if you had,
Round.
I think if you had bronchitis, it wouldn't be gone today, though.
it's not fully gone, but
It's not full-blown bronchitis.
I have like a system now because I want to cough all the time. There's like this feeling that I have. Sometimes you'll probably hear my voice go like this because I'm holding it back. Because there's nothing to cough up at this point. Like I must have coughed up my lungs. Like there's nothing in there anymore. But anyways, I did. What?
Go ahead.
It had some annoying consequences because I started to get sick on Saturday during the podcast. You probably saw me I was like using what are they called? The things you use for your throat. Yeah. And I thought, okay, this is fine. It's just a normal, regular cold. Right after minimum eye level, the fucking just hell descended. I've been coughing fucking non-stop since Sunday evening. I have slept maybe 2 hours every night because I would just fucking cough, and I thought, okay, I'll just do the videos. I have to do SoH, I have to do roar. First of all, I lost my voice.
It's a really creepy. Hello, it's me.
Yeah, I woke up.
That's your advantage.
My voice is just like
spooky.
Hello. And,
okay, that's not spooky.
And I thought, okay, well, I'll record some footage. But trying to record footage in game when you're coughing, the camera fucking jumps.
Just keep it in and pretend it's not happening.
Yeah, so I'll just have a lot of still shots, I thought. So I did that, but, it didn't, yeah. So everything has been delayed because of that, but I am pushing for a release tomorrow. I have everything ready. I just need to finish some voice work and re-record some scenes. And then Roar will be out first, and then SoH will come right after. So stay tuned for that. It's just a couple of days away. I'm sorry about the delay.
Plus, we're going to get a really good Halloween episode next week when you die and your ghost fills in. That's going to be pretty dope.
That's going to be pretty cool.
Exciting. So
absolutely.
Make sure you show up next week.
Yeah.
We've carved our own Ouija board.
Actually. Oh, wow.
I didn't know that. That's nice.
Yeah, carved it out of the tree that fell over in Rollo's garden.
yeah, dude. There was a possum in that tree, so I'm definitely cursed.
Wow.
Because I had to take the chainsaw to the tree and I had to cut up with the axe.
Did you cut up the possum?
Well, no.
You crushed it under the tree.
You cut its home down.
I felt sad because when I was cutting up the tree, I saw the possum was just hanging from the branches. I'm like, I mean, your house already fell down, but like, I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
That's some cursed. You got some bad juju now. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The monkey's paw is fully closed.
Yeah, it's fully closed.
On another note, if anyone on Half the Roads needs some firewood, I got you covered.
I got a great house, tree that I will.
Sometimes
He's offering firewood
sometimes I feel like Rollo isn't real. Like
What?
every now and then I'm like,
orange.
this is a hologram from like an alien planet that we've somehow managed to put into our podcast. You're offering firewood in a Final Fantasy XIV podcast.
Winter is
On
coming.
Twitch.
It's getting cold.
He's still assimilating with humanity. He's not.
He's getting there. He's getting there.
Is this when I offer my firewood?
It's getting cold, and I'm just saying, like, I got too much wood now because I cut down a fucking tree.
Okay.
So humans do like fire, Rollo. Yes.
Yeah,
They do.
Humans like fire.
That's true.
Fire good.
Fire good.
Okay, let's moving smoothly on from that. 14 was 14 was updated on October 16th. Nothing big. It's just minor bug fixes. But I want to mention that one of the two bug fixes was that the PvP action Divine Benison cooldown time was increased again from 20 to 30 seconds.
Big changes.
Yeah, as usual. As usual, they just don't know what to do with White Mage.
Wonder what's going to happen to Divine Medicine next week.
They'll revert that change back again, because maybe that was better.
They'll turn to Stone Skin.
Why not do 15 seconds or 25 seconds?
It now requires all 3 lilies to cast.
Dude, they should just bring Stone Skin back for PvP. Like an instant cast off global cooldown shield.
You just want to hear the sound again.
Yes, I do, Rollo. It's very satisfying.
Here's a good noise.
What if they made they added one of them another sound effect into like the chat, but it was the sound of Stone Skin?
Oh my
Would that
god,
make you
yes.
happy?
Fantastic.
There's
That-
two sounds though, because there's the sound of casting and the sound of getting hit while you have it.
Yeah, that's also
Because
true. Yeah.
there was a unique sound, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because there is a sound when you get hit when you
And-
have protect. isn't
And there was like the animation, right, where it would do that.
there? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. The little rock.
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
great when you were in 24-man party and it's like.
yeah, and the AOE's went out, and then everybody went like on
Yeah.
the first AOE. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm kind of tired of hearing
Right.
Stone
Bring-
Skin like
Make
I mean,
14
the
right
protecting.
Yeah. Okay, so there was also the bug where you would occasionally fall off the map if you played a cutscene when you traded Chocobo in the Chocobo stable.
Really? I
So-
didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
pretty
wish
cool.
I'd known about it.
I hope somebody filmed it.
I'm
Maybe
sure
someone's
there'll
still
be
under
videos
the
on
map.
YouTube. Okay, so there also in other news, a best of album of 14's music called Final Fantasy 14 The Best is going on sale soon. And that's coming out as part of the celebration for 14's 5th anniversary. So that's the winners of the voting thing, where you voted for the top tracks.
So what songs got on there?
They haven't released the track list, but I'm assuming,
okay.
yeah. As a special bonus, it will include the chiptune version of 3 songs created by sound director Masayoshi Soken during the anniversary broadcast, and that also is included as 2 in-game items. So there's Orchestrion Roll, Wayward Daughter
Now I have to
chiptune,
buy it.
and the
That's
Worm's
cool.
Tail chiptune.
Now I have to, you bastards.
But I just think it's interesting because it's still a Blu-ray disc.
Oh.
It's also
It's a lot of
39.
music, to be fair.
Yeah, it's 39.99 euros if you're in Europe.
So
That's a lot.
I ran into that problem after I bought. Was it Duality?
Duality? Yeah.
Yeah, I bought Duality, and I was like, "Oh, cool, cool, cool." Put it in my computer. I was like, "Oh, right, I don't have a Blu-ray drive on my computer. Like, why would I have a Blu-ray drive on my computer? That doesn't make any
Right,
sense." So I was
right.
Do they
Okay.
still give you a digital code for it, right?
They do, don't
No.
they?
like, no, I don't think they. Oh,
Oh.
The
Did you throw it
MP3s are on the
away?
Blu-ray
Yes.
disc.
yeah, I think I had to like whip out my old iMac and like plug it in there and then
Oh,
sync it
boy.
with that iTunes, and then I could use it on my
Oh,
other thing.
boy.
I had to do
Wow.
something weird, I think.
No,
Mm.
real question though. Who has CD drives anymore?
I have a
no
CD
idea.
I
drive.
still have a CD
but-
drive, yeah.
Oh, well, because it's
But I
like
don't
Or
have a
DVD
Blu-ray
drive.
Yeah.
if you buy a PC case, like you build yourself, a lot of them don't even have fucking.
I've just
mine
brought
CD
my
drives.
old DVD drive
Mine
over
does.
every time I upgrade or buy a new case.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I like having one on just in case.
it's nice for like legacy software that you.
It is.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, I
Or
like I
just
don't
for
have
like
one, though.
CDs.
Yeah,
Just use
CDs.
a USB one.
But
it's
I don't
fine.
think I've ever listened to a CD through my computer CD drive.
I think I've
Yeah.
only ever just ripped them, and then
Well, yeah, but it still needs
Yeah.
the drive, don't you?
you can do it legally, Lukiel. it's
Yeah, I
fine.
know. It's been a while since I've heard that. I just remember doing that, like ripping CDs and putting them in the iTunes library. Those were the days. Okay, moving on. There's a very random contest, Final Fantasy XIV Glamour contest for EU, PAL, and PAL territories.
Dang.
That not America off limits.
Whatever. Don't want it anywhere.
We're calling upon all the skilled fashion designers in the realm to set the trends for spring 2019. It's
Wow.
time to go shopping.
Am I left out too?
Yeah.
Yes, you're not a PAL territory, are you?
Yeah. It's come on.
I could be.
It's time. You're It's time to go shopping, crafting, and farming to find the best pieces and put together the most fashionable outfit. Our models will showcase the finalists' attire on stage in a very special catwalk show at Fan Festival, and attendees and stream viewers will vote for their favorite looks to choose the winners.
Oh my god!
Oh,
If they
is it
have like
stream for it?
holographic people, that would be amazing.
What the heck
What?
did you just say?
Like holographs of in-game characters walking up.
I
and
know
down
what
the
he's
thing.
saying.
Oh.
He's saying like at FanFest they would project these people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be
Like
so
Tupac.
cool.
Remember that?
yeah, like Tupac. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
that would be amazing.
He does not know about Tupac.
I mean,
coming
how
back.
sad is it that this is like the 10th time Tupac is brought up in this
The
on this
10th
podcast?
time?
Every time we
Man,
talk
I'm
about
not keeping
holograms, we
count.
bring up this. We've talked about
Oh.
this many times. I'm almost.
I've,
tempted to
I've never
see-
mentioned Tupac on here, so
Okay,
Oh,
look here,
we've
right? If
mentioned it
they
many
have,
I think it
times.
was me. I think it was me.
Yeah.
if they
yes,
have a
mostly.
video
Yeah.
of the 10 options.
I was about to say,
rubbish.
but well, yeah, exactly.
But if they have a hologram, I'm voting. That's so cool.
I would assume, yeah, okay, whatever.
Miku was also a hologram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Miku Chiko or whatever.
She's the best hologram, right?
Oh, is that Tupac's? That's Tupac's wife. Yeah, yeah.
Tupac's wife.
Yeah.
Much
That's a
love to
couple.
Tupac,
That's a
guys.
couple, everyone. That's
I mean, they're like the first two OG holograms, so of course they're gonna be together.
I hope they do it one day. They just do a duet.
They had what Tupac though when Snoop Dogg came out.
Yeah, but
started
that
singing with the
makes
hologram.
sense, Rollo. Miku
But
makes
it's
no
like singing
sense,
with the hologram.
No sense.
and that would be so good because they're like two sides of the spectrum. Like they're like
Cutesy J-pop and Tupac.
that's like a fucking culture explosion.
Mm.
Oh,
Listen, black people love anime.
Okay.
true.
Alright.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Okay, moving
Alright.
on.
It is
Speaking
true.
of contests, also Saints Awake has a contest as well, and this one is a little interesting. They are basically asking you to create a delightful or a frightful comic strip. By the dim light of jack-o'-lanterns, will you be the one to send chills down our spines, or to make us laugh so hard it will shake us to the core? Take 4 screenshots and turn them into a hilarious or frightful comic strip. Yeah, that sounds like a cool idea. Have they done the comic strip thing before?
No.
Can't
I have
remember.
screenshots, right?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be screenshots, right?
It's only a
They've had
4-panel
screenshot
one, though.
contests. Yeah, 4-panel comic strip.
How
Yeah.
are you going to manage that?
Why a 4? I guess they had to set
We
a
could
limit.
just use-
'cause-
Well, because that's like that's a thing in Japan. Like they have 4
Yeah.
comas. with,
Oh,
like, 4 panel
really?
comics.
I think isn't that
Yeah.
like a thing? Isn't that like
That's
your
funny how it's
standard like newspaper Sunday cartoon strip,
Well,
whatever?
No, I've seen newspaper
they're usually
comics.
like
but
4 or
more.
Usually like
6,
4.
yeah.
Yeah, they're usually not that long.
They're not long, but yeah. Okay.
So that's probably what they're going for.
Yeah.
I think the podcast would make a good one. Like the overlay.
Yeah, look, see, we have 4 people. We can.
It goes
It'll
in
be.
knowledge.
It's a little difficult because every week would have the same panel in one. Like
yeah,
the
but that's
second
like the
panel
running
would-
joke panel.
That's the
Oh
joke.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It cuts to mail and mail says something, but the picture always looks the same.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
It's very new.
Garfield
It's
does
new
it. We can
age
do it
humor.
too.
Okay. Speaking of All Saints Wake again, the items from last year are now on the Mog Station as predicted. Same
Right.
price as usual. I
Loads of money.
still don't understand why the food is still being sold on the Mog Station. They have to stop doing that. Stop selling consumables in the on the Mog Station. But okay.
Isn't it like $5 for like a single piece of furniture? or
No, it's
something?
$3. Oh yeah, dollars. Yeah, sorry, I'm in Europe, so I have euros.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's $3.50, I think, for
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's too much.
It is
That's
too
too
much.
much.
That's a lot
I
of
agree.
money for a virtual chair.
It should just be
Yeah.
like I shouldn't. I don't feel like it should be there at all. But if they're gonna sell it, at least just like $1
Yeah.
or €1.
They should sell like all of the items in one pack for like $5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird
They
that they
should
don't
just sell
offer packages.
an
Like,
event
they,
pack.
Because
they
you need to buy multiple of them.
they
'cause
do-
You're not just gonna buy
yeah, but
one table with no chair,
yeah, exactly.
right?
The fact
but
that
they
they're
should have-
selling the chairs for $5 a pop
Yeah.
is insanity. Because you need the $5 table, and it has 4 sides, so you probably want all 4 chairs. That's a pretty expensive table that you're buying with the chairs.
25
It's not
bucks
even
for that
real.
setup.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's not even a pretty looking table. Like, the table is god awful. But yeah, the Starlight. I was going to say the Starlight event that the items they sell there. You can buy packages of those where you can get like a Christmas tree, some presents, and
Isn't there a Little Ladies Day one too, right? With the cherry tree and
oh
the,
yeah, that's also true. Yeah,
So they've done them in the past.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if
Yeah,
they're
I
any
know.
like cheap. Yeah, they're probably a little cheaper. I guess that's the whole point with the packages. But then again, it's Square Enix, so to me, it would make sense. If it was just you can just buy. We've just selected the products for you. It's still the same price if you'd buy
Yeah,
bought them
identical.
individually. But here's the package. But yeah, I don't know.
Mog Station sucks. Nothing new.
I mean, it doesn't. It's
It sucks. This sucks.
Yeah.
Like, what else would it say?
Yeah.
I mean, if we ever go back into that great discussion, I'm getting pretty tired of it.
I mean, you've probably bought more from the Mog Station than any of us at this point, Mala.
I don't know. Look at Yazpot.
Oh yeah,
Look at
that's
him,
true.
he's shifty eyed.
Yeah. He's like sweating bullets.
Left
Look at him.
side of this podcast
He's sweating.
is
He's
cursed.
sweating general.
They are the
purpose
reason
metallic gold dye.
why.
That's the right side.
Oh yeah, the right side. Sorry,
We're the
it's
left
left
side.
to me in the real world, which is confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are the reason why 14 is getting more cash shoppy. So
Them.
Yeah.
Their fault.
contact your politicians to change.
I only
that.
buy mounts, please.
The most expensive stuff on the station. Okay, on the
I don't have all of
station.
them.
That's what the cool kids call it now. On the station. See you there. On the
See you
station.
on the station.
Okay, let's move on to the actual All Saints event,
Yeah.
2018.
Wow.
Can you try to be more enthusiastic, Malavanadar?
Wow.
Thank you. The All Saints Wake 2018 event has started, and it is not very different from last year. The quest line is similar
It's cute.
to previous iterations, but it's cute. It's
I liked one of the characters, Lil Yang,
yeah,
He was dope.
yeah.
because he's like, you seem like a nice person. I've never met you before, but you seem nice. Or whatever.
Yeah.
He was-
I gave him the voice of just like, hey, what's up, dude? How you doing? Like, just totally like,
Is this your voice?
just like
I
just
gave him my
any
voice,
man,
man.
just like any person I know. Just not no. He doesn't sound like a ghost. He doesn't sound like
he was
spooky at all.
super sarcastic in my
Right?
Yeah. I want to mention because we talked about it in the last episode, but the fact that it is similar to last year doesn't really bother me too much, because again, we said it last episode, it's a seasonal event. It'll only be available for like 2 weeks a year.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is something we get multiple times every year. This is once for 2 weeks every year. And this one has a dungeon, which turns out to be the exact, like, it's literally the same dungeon from, like, even though objectives are the same in that
Yeah.
dungeon. But we have to mention the other house, which is supposedly
Which
the
is
same
the
house.
same
Main
dungeon.
one. And that's
But,
that
dude,
is really the main
technically,
one.
it is very impressive of 14. It is not an instance.
Hmm.
It is open world. You can log out of the house and still
Yeah.
log back in there. It is
Yeah.
an
I
actual
was
place in
surprised.
Eorzea
So
that
it's a
you're
zone?
inside. It's a
Yeah, it's a
zone.
zone.
Yeah. Because you can't hit, like, the U key or whatever and go, like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
leave instance. or
You can
something.
access your free
It
company
just-
tab, friends tab.
Yeah,
Everything is
exactly.
available.
Oh, interesting.
Very interesting. Stuff
Don't
like
worry, Lucio, they're not going to add a real zone.
no,
Don't
but
get your
it
hopes up.
does mean that they're testing.
Yes.
It means that they're
So-
trying to figure out if they can put, like, because this is a very small zone, obviously, but it is still a real. We haven't received anything like this before, like that isn't like an actual like closed
Right.
instance.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I thought so when I logged in or when I did the event, I was like, oh, they're just using like the same rising kind of skin.
Yeah,
I actually never looked because there isn't really much to do in there. It's kind of
No.
pointless going in there.
yeah.
And I was kind of wondering, like, what is the purpose of this?
It's a way to
consistent?
do the to get cookies solo, I
You need
guess, because you can
5
still
cookies
yeah.
to get the other minion, so I just did that.
You can do that
I'm
5
not doing
times.
the old one
I
again.
just did the other I just did the dungeon thing once and
Yeah,
got it. So
yeah. I've been
but
hoarding
I was kind of
furniture. Yeah,
right. I was kind of in there like, what's the purpose of this? But that makes sense that if they were just kind of using this as a testing, maybe showing us that they're like, oh, look, we can do this now. Like we can actually make. Like,
yeah.
Is this a good thing for stuff like Eureka in the future?
I mean, that's what we wanted
for real,
Eureka
though.
to
Like,
be.
that's
No, for
what we
real.
need.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like with friends and having a friends list and using your FC and
I
like
mean-
actually having a continuous zone that's not limited and having people drop out because the instance dies
Yeah.
and
I
all
mean,
that
yeah,
stuff,
but
right?
I feel like this is a really tiny thing, and it's like the
It's
zone's
tiny,
actually
but
super
it has
tiny.
no character restrictions. Like it
Yeah,
is
it's
an
for
open
the
zone.
server.
So
Mhm.
you could theoretically have hundreds and maybe, thousands of people.
Here's an
in there.
important thing to ask, though. It was probably server specific.
Yes.
It was, yes. I was still in
So-
Ragnarok when I
So
was there.
that's a bit of a difference
So
there. Like when we did the Rising and stuff,
Yeah,
we
'cause-
were,
Yeah, obviously because
Right.
we don't have cross world zones.
of course, yeah, of
So,
course.
They've said that is very
So
difficult.
I'm
for
just
people.
thinking that I probably do retract my Eureka statement because that wouldn't make any sense.
It wouldn't make
'cause-
sense
Yeah.
if you look at it that
Yeah,
way, but
so-
it does open up like other stuff in the future, maybe for events and
Zones
stuff.
for patches.
Yeah, I mean, not
Maybe in
impossible now because
5.x.
they've technically just done it with this patch or with this event. And I'm sure that took some work because Hawk Manor is a dungeon, so they would
Yeah.
have to make a new. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work they did just for that. Even though we really kind of take it for granted because nothing really happens in there. There's nothing. Although
It was
you can turn
pretty
into
pointless.
NPCs, which is the best thing ever.
It was
Yeah,
cool being a
that's
bat. I liked being a
Dude.
bat for a while.
Oh god, were you the bat
I-
every single time though? Oh my
I was
gosh.
Kane Senna fighting Rauban. I mean, you can't make
Wait,
this
what?
shit up. Did you not know? There's an
No,
imp
it's
in there.
NPCs now.
Yeah.
You can be
Oh.
anyone you want.
Okay, yeah,
you can
yeah,
be
yeah, I just think-
Merlwib.
Yeah. Okay.
You can be Emmerich
Yes, you can.
or Nanamo.
So if you want to do some like nice screenshots of like Emmerich and Rauban hugging and kissing each other, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm-
yeah.
You want an ERP?
And it's
What
cool.
if people are role playing as like the actual characters now in that
I
area?
saw people with a roleplay tag in there. So
It would be pretty hard because there'd be 13 of you, and you'd be like, "Oh, my twin!
Yeah.
Oh, my twin!" You'd just be constantly freaking out about your twin.
My
Just
family
go in the
grows.
corner and be
I
like,
mean, there's a lot
"Oh."
of space in the manor. You can probably find like a
That's true.
private room.
And the top and bottom never get used because you're always a bat.
Yeah, why
Every
is that?
single time, you're always the bat.
Why would you
I want
always
it to
have to
be
be
a
a bat, not an Ahriman
Because
or
the
a
other two are
succubus?
apparently floor specific, but I've never done them.
Yeah, but there's never anyone in the cellar,
and if you
right?
choose to be the succubus and go and try and do the quest, it says, nope, you're the wrong demon. You have to be a
I
bat.
had to be. Is it random? Will you have to
Maybe
be?
it's random.
But how weird is that? Every time I went in, I had to be a bat. Like
Yeah,
no,
I went
The bat every time.
Ahriman, and then it was like, "Get the hell out!"
we just
of
had
here.
bad
Why were you
RNG.
bad? And then
We
I
were
went
very
bat,
bad
and I
RNG.
won.
Yeah, see, because I saw people being succubuses and Ahriman, so I just didn't
So lots
understand.
I thought they were just doing the
I
quest
saw
wrong.
no Ahrimans, but I saw lots of succubus.
Succubus.
Succubus. Right. What was I saying? Yeah, so the dungeon, so the actual dungeon itself, like the other quest, the other seasonal dungeon was the same one as before, where you do
Yeah.
3 tasks. I don't have a problem with that because I think it's even though we've done it before, it's kind of refreshing because it kind of forces people to work together. Even though I have been in parties where one person refuses to work with the others and you get that fucking Jack-in-a-Box quest where you have to find the clue to find the correct Jack-in-a-Box, and that one dude just goes around opening everyone until you run out of sanity. Fuck you, you asshole. That was our last quest, you little shit turd.
It
Sorry.
was the last one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways.
I mean, that was good 2 years ago when they first did it, but I'd like it if they visited the idea with other areas.
I mean, I don't mind them making it an option again.
Mhm.
It's like they already
Yes, it's
designed
good
it.
that
It's
it's an
sitting
option,
there.
but
It's fine.
Then to make the second part of it also the same place, like
and
I'd like
and,
them to just do a new area.
and
I
really
don't
lackluster.
know if I agree entirely. I'd see what you mean though, but
Would
I
you
mean,
imagine like a spooky like version of like the chapel or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
You could do like spook some stuff up in the world.
but why would
Or
they
imagine
spook
a
the?
spooky
You're talking about
version
Sanctum of the
of the
12,
Lost-
Yeah,
the
that'd be
holiest
awesome.
site in Eorzea. Why would they
spook
do
these
that?
people's
No.
fucking house? It's someone's
Oh my
It's
God, why
Hawk
do people-
Manor.
Why do people
Yeah.
build a giant
No one-
otter house? It's a fake world. We
No
can do
one
what we
lives
want.
in Hawk Manor anymore. Like Hawk Manor was abandoned because the fucking
Lady-
yeah, she's a succubus.
Listen,
Hey,
I mean, you
listen,
kill her,
call
but
that
it's
out.
like you
Listen.
just turn her house this lady that like killed a bunch of like young girls.
Isn't that exactly what we do in our world, Rollo? When like, oh, this is the murder house of Ron Knorbel, and he killed 25 people. He did. Welcome. That's $25.
But you're going on
Please
like
step
a
inside.
tour. This is like, hey, step in this like house, and we're gonna jump scare you with like all this shit. Go with your friends, solve puzzles. There's a lot of people died in here.
No, they're not trying to make.
Are you
have
trying
fun.
to
They want
apply some
turn you
sort of
into a
absurd
pumpkin.
logic to this fantasy world about a haunted house?
No, I'm just saying that
Like how they're doing the haunted house is
No. What I'm
your
saying
problem.
is that like if they're gonna do
There's a
that to
haunted
that
house.
house, they could do that to the Sanctum of the 12. Who fucking cares?
I agree. Like, in my opinion, we can jump on statues for the gold saucer. Those are clearly ancient, holy statues. We don't give
Respect
a shit.
nothing.
We don't get. There's no. It doesn't matter.
If there's
We had
one
a-
thing I think
had
they
a
respect, it's the
Valentine's Day event.
12. I think that's
We had a
where
Valentine's
Eorzeans
Day
draw the
event.
line. Yeah.
We did hedge mazes.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
the hedge maze on the. That's like going to the Vatican and playing tic tac toe or something. It doesn't make sense. You
It's
know,
still-
it's
for love. It's for love. And that's what the Sanctum is all about. Yes, Pop.
either
Not
way. I think
Arimans
I-
and fucking succubus.
I
A fucking
agree with
seeing a
Kayla and
succubus at the
Rollo.
altar with her tits out.
They gotta spook up the rest of the world.
That was for you, Mela.
It's like not having Christmas in Ishgard.
What?
You know? Because everything should be
we know
spooky on
that.
Halloween.
I agree.
everything should be
I
spooky
agree
on
with that
Halloween.
though. But everything mostly is.
Add a different location. Spook up a different location other than Hawk Manor.
It doesn't
You know?
have to be. Why are we getting so hung up on Sanctum of the 12 anyway? It's just an idea, really.
Right.
Yeah.
It could just be like
And it could be
Amderport
anything.
or
Yeah.
Amderport Keep
whatever.
would kind of make
Yeah.
sense. To me, it
Sure.
always has to make some sense. Hawk Manor is already our haunted mansion. Like, it is literally a mansion.
Okay, yeah,
that's...
but like Siren Song Sea.
No, right. So, hello everyone. Step aboard our ship. We're about to go to the
you're such
fucking
a
ship graveyard in the
I mean,
middle
we
of the
already killed all the
ocean to
monsters
celebrate
there.
All Saints Wake. Everyone.
Did you see
All
how pretty it was when
aboard!
we left?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was so nice.
It was so pretty when we left.
yeah.
We broke the
like,
spell.
You already
Mm,
killed all the monsters there,
True.
so it's safe.
True.
Spook up. Let's go to Costa del Sol. Have a Halloween event there. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter where we do it. I just think we should
Yeah.
To me, it does.
do more stuff with
Yeah.
more
To me, it does.
places of the world.
To me, it's important
you know?
to have limits so we don't get police cars.
All right, PlayStation.
Okay. So how do we think it compares to last year? I mean,
Bad.
technically,
compared to last year, slightly better because last year was identical to the year before.
that's true.
But compared to the year before, meh. It
The
ain't.
rewards sucked. They're bad.
Yeah.
So
Ghosts
yeah,
are cute. The ghosts are cute, but
But they were just ghosts they placed around the world and then turned to minions.
yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
but
get.
in the story, they get turned from the.
Yeah, but
I like
rewards
the
still
housing
suck.
items. The housing items are
Mm.
cool.
There's no costume, so it sucks. What's the point?
I wanted.
There's no mount. Why
I
is there
want
no
mounts.
mount?
I want mounts.
It's like every time we complain about an event, it's always there's not enough rewards. Like we want costume, we want
Well,
mount.
Well, no, but
The
it's like
field
they always
two
have a
minions.
costume.
2 minions and like 3 housing items isn't really that much.
And it's like when
Back in 1.0, all you got was a peach branch and some sugar.
Oh, my peach branch.
Why have they all
who cares?
Back in my day, we were happy with a branch and some sugar.
Listen, old
Is this
man,
a
your time's
different
over.
channel?
But it's like
yeah.
it's just in comparison though, because like every year you'd get like a nice costume or something, and then this year you just get 2 minions that were like
Mhm.
there were props that were
Yeah,
turned.
but they are minions.
You're a prop, Rollo.
I am a prop. I'm a tool.
Yeah.
No, I do agree though. I feel like the rewards were lackluster. It's
The event was.
The event itself is fine, but the
It was
rewards
pushed out, and you
Yeah.
know it happened.
compared to
and
what
it was
we've
meh.
received, like the events prior to this, it was a bit of a letdown. But I do like where that Hawk Manor open world thing goes. I hope it's a sign of what's to come.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
And
Let's
also that lady's
Just give
back.
us a mount. Just give us a mount, though.
give us a,
we
like
haven't
a
had a-
floating
they did
haven't
pumpkin.
had
once.
a mount.
Remember the witch broom?
Well, we've had many. We got the last one we got was on Valentine's Day. We got those
Oh, I
two
meant for, like,
really
Halloween
ugly
specifics.
mounts that
Fucking
cursed
worst
us.
mounts.
That cursed us forever.
No, they were a good mount.
No, they
The
cursed. They
worst.
cursed.
My character looks like he's about to fall off, and I don't blame him. Like half the chair is missing. Like what the fuck? I keep getting it on my mount roulette now.
Yep.
Why did I do it? I should have just
We need a
said,
favorites.
okay,
We need a
I'll
mounts favorites
just
roulette.
put this in my chocobo saddlebag and never like use the item, so I never get it on. I should have known. Too late.
Yeah.
Too late. Just make.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the
a good
Christmas
idea.
pudding goobu would be good. Yeah, good
That's
idea.
Yeah,
that's a really
I was
good,
thinking
that's a
the
good idea.
the vendor who's bending over, the woman and you could like ride on her back.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. What's wrong with her?
Well, because she's got like scoliosis or something, and she's like,
never had calcium.
Stop
Constantly.
shaming her. She just likes that.
Dude,
God.
it makes no sense that she's standing like
Stop.
that. Like,
It's fine.
Why?
I know, for the whole event like this, wiggling around.
Why? Why make?
Sometimes you
She's
just gotta wiggle your
sultry.
ass a bit.
What?
Yeah,
She's
sultry. Sultry.
sultry?
That's what her name is. She's sultry. Yeah,
Oh my god.
she's
Yeah,
like trying to allure you.
Is there any lore tied to her? Or why is she standing like that?
No, because it brings in the punters, innit?
It's in the lore book. Next one.
Anyway,
Coming
let's just move swiftly on.
So, MonsterVine recently had a chance to interview 3 of Square Enix's most prolific developers about their massively multiplayer online role-playing game phenomenon, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Director and producer Naoki Yoshida, armor designer Yusuke Mogi, and translation director Koji Fox all took the time to answer some of our burning questions about A Realm Reborn and the endlessly growing world of Eorzea,
This is
covering
from
everything from
2013.
dream crossovers to the redesigning of iconic Final Fantasy creatures.
Okay, stop. You didn't have to read that part, but it's
The
That's
Keel,
fine.
they have burning questions about A Realm Reborn.
they do, which I thought was interesting because they're asking questions about creature design, and Yoshi-P is answering that. I feel like that's a bit. Okay, so here's the question. They ask questions about the monsters. How did you go about creating your own versions of Final Fantasy's iconic monsters? And it's intimidating. And is it intimidating to work with such beloved designs? Which I feel, first of all, a lot of the monsters in 14 were not designed by Yoshi-P's crew. We need to keep that in mind. A lot of these are 1.0 designs made by Tanaka's team.
11
which are
designs.
just
which-
ported from 11.
Yeah, not all of them, but some of them.
A lot of
are,
them.
They're not ported because they have like slight differences, but they're definitely from 1.0 to Realm Reborn. No change. Definitely the 1.0 assets. Every member of the Final Fantasy XIV development team, myself included, has a great deal of respect for the Final Fantasy series. We've grown up alongside the Final Fantasy games, with many of us having played them since childhood. As such, when we're using a famous monster design, we pour our hearts into the recreated versions in a way that will preserve our own fond recollections, as well as satisfy the expectations of players who share similar memories. That's a lot of words. It really is a wonderful feeling when our reimagined monsters are met with approval. Rather than feel intimidated, the development team thinks of these tasks as a rewarding challenge. I am sorry, but Yoshi-P's answers are now starting to just not make as much sense as they did before. I feel like he's just repeating. Again, we talked about that in the previous episode.
Yeah.
Like, we've heard everything before. And they're like vague answers that don't really like, oh, we're just great. I love our workers.
He basically just said nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's all he said the whole time. He's like, well, I'm nostalgic for those designs. I want to make them again.
Yeah.
That's all he said.
I mean, X-Death is probably the best one they've done.
God Kafka's really good too.
Yeah, but that's like I have a feeling that's the Dissidia model. He
The
looks.
God Kafka one?
No, I'm even talking about God Kefka. That's what I thought you meant regular Kefka. Also, yeah, the Omega Savage model looks prime too.
Yeah,
And that's not even
that's
based on
true.
nostalgia, so that's just their own.
Right.
Yeah,
good point.
Which monsters do you have the most difficulty designing? The most difficult depends on the type of difficulty we're discussing.
Huh?
Huh? Okay, the art style, the battle mechanics, the animation, each has its own challenges, so it's difficult to single out the monsters that were the hardest to design.
Just answer the question.
Yeah, I know.
He does eventually.
If I had to choose, then I might have to go with our interpretation of Omega, the boss who makes an appearance in the Interdimensional Rift Raid series. I think we succeeded in creating an enthralling enemy with a unique Final Fantasy XIV feel, while still preserving the qualities that make Omega instantly recognizable. The design was definitely something of a gamble as far as difficulty was concerned.
That's fairly true.
Yeah, Omega was
Yeah.
well made.
Was he talking about like Omega's
Like
the book
form or
version.
the?
The picture shows that it's the normal, like the machine,
Oh,
like regular overworld.
Well, that's the one the
model.
interviewer put on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
on the
that's not their own design, really. That's just the normal Omega design.
Yeah, I guess.
So maybe he is talking about the Savage.
I'm
version.
Yeah,
assuming
the
maybe.
Savage one or the MF one.
Yeah. Which I agree with. That's a good design. What's it like to work on different monsters for crossover events? It's very similar to how we approach the legacy characters and monsters from the Final Fantasy series. When we work on a crossover event, our highest priority is whether or not our designs respect the world, characters, game mechanics, etc. of the source material. We consider it a challenge as developers to first and foremost... what? Hold on, I just stroked out. We consider it a challenge as developers first and foremost, rather than as an exercise in PR. Interesting. This attitude guides our creation of designs and mechanics, which we then discuss directly and openly with our collaborators. All of our crossover events, sorry, Norwegian slipped in. All of our crossover events have been crafted on this premise of respect, allowing us to provide our players with a distinct and highly authentic experience each time. It's an extremely engaging experience for us on the development side as well, as we are thrilled whenever these opportunities become available. Oh,
I mean,
please, your
what's
answers.
that
I don't even understand. I didn't even. That kind of just went in one ear and out the other. To be entirely honest.
I don't.
I think what he's saying is like the
Like, you
Dragon
have to
Quest ones
interpret.
looked a bit like the Dragon Quest. Like they were authentic to Dragon Quest, and the Monster Hunter ones were authentic to Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's true. Yeah, I guess that. I
mean,
mean, that's the
that's-
point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Interesting. Thank you,
Are
Yoshi-P.
you ready?
There's only so much you can
Are you ready
say.
for this next question? It's gonna piss everyone off.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm
Are
looking
you
for the
ready?
iTunes reviews now. If you could pick any franchise to cross over with, which would you pick, and what monsters from what franchise would you want to work on? Yoshi-P answers. If I was free to pick any crossover partner I wanted, then my life would be complete if I could work with the people at Blizzard Entertainment. There are a lot of Blizzard fans on the development team, including myself, which we already knew. He's been talking about he played Diablo?
He said he's
Yeah.
like
He said he
Diablo
played
before.
WoW. He said he played a lot of WoW.
Yeah,
before he
he-
Yeah,
started
WoW
working
too, I
with
knew,
it.
but Diablo was...
recently he's talked a lot about Diablo.
Yeah. There's a lot we can learn from the properties they make, and I have, in fact, already learned so much from them.
He's so right though. That's the thing. If he could spend a day over there and learn how to make a proper netcode, I'd be pretty happy.
Oh, that would be great.
I don't think it's so much learning how to do proper netcode. We know what the real reason with the netcode of 14 is, and it's difficult to switch it out. Like, I don't think even if he spent a day at Blizzard and looked at their netcode, he'd be like depressed because there's no way we can do this with our netcode.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but you know, anything to fix this god awful netcode.
I agree with that, yeah. Making something together would be a dream come true. Otherwise, I would also love to do a crossover with A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones.
That's interesting.
I mean, having a crossover
Why?
with a TV series /
He wants titties.
He wants titties.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
hey, is it that far off? You see the fucking Tekken 7 had some dude from The Walking Dead called Negan as a new
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I think there's a big difference between Walking Dead and George R.R. Martin. I think one is
Well-
valued a little higher.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, a fighting game added
You're right.
a Japanese one
Yeah.
added Negan.
Yeah. I mean, there was already, with the conclusion of A Realm Reborn, there were heavy Game of Thrones like elements in the story, which is probably why it was so good. And he even said so himself during the interviews before the last patch of A Realm Reborn came out with the story conclusion, that he had been watching a lot of Game of Thrones, and that might have affected some of the story, which is, you know, if you look back on the last portion of A Realm Reborn, you'll probably notice that it's pretty, like, the intrigue there is very Game of Thrones-esque.
He was like watching the Red Wedding, and he was just
looking
at all the characters.
As you can tell from my answers, I am no different from anyone else. I'm just a big fanboy at heart.
I mean, none of them would work.
None of them would work. Well, Blizzard
Can you imagine
could...
having like ultra low poly like WoW characters in 14 world?
Would have to make them for 14 though. So
yeah.
Well, no, I mean they've made like high poly versions of their own characters in other games. So.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
WoW
Hero of
has
the Storms.
Also, they've also upped. It's not like heinously as bad. The character models
still
have gotten
won't
better.
work in 14.
The world still looks like shit.
Yeah.
The characters look a little better than
they look a little better, but their poly count is still way lower than the 14 character. Let's be real.
Just imagine going to like Ned Stark's beheading as an event in 14. That'd be super fun.
At the Sanctuary of the 12?
Yeah.
It'd be super gory, obviously, because this game's full of gore.
Okay. Let's move on to the next part where he asks about armor. What armor sets are you particularly proud of, and why? Now, who's Mogi?
Well, if you listen to my introduction...
Oh, did he?
You...
It wasn't in the headlines, so I don't know who.
That's the guy.
Armor designer Yusuke Mogi.
Oh, he's the armor designer. Oh, that's why they're asking about armor.
I feel a little bit insulted actually because you did ask me to read that.
I never
even listen.
You know, I never listened to you. You're just background noise to me. I would have to say the artifact set, artifact armor. We release with every expansion. It takes a certain courage to create new designs that preserve the identity of both the Final Fantasy series and the jobs themselves. It can't be too different, but it can't be too similar either. Artifact armor sets probably go through the highest number of draft iterations of any armor design. Staff who are entrusted with maintaining job identity when each patch rolls around are under a lot of pressure and have a lot of stress to deal with. And then he laughs. But even so, I think people feel honored to work on these designs and see it as a challenge to their talents. I mean...
I would say, yeah, they are the coolest sets in the game.
They're really good.
Yeah.
They obviously were best in A Realm Reborn, in my opinion.
Yeah, because they're like classic designs. Yeah. But they've done a good job with the other ones as well. I mean, the ones from A Realm Reborn were a bit like easy because they could just pick, you know, we'll take the classic artifact gear and just use that. But I think the hardest part must have been after that when they were like, okay, now what do we do? Which is why we've sometimes seen, like they did with the artifact gear, that was just like a reimagining of the classic gear. Remember that? They did that. That was, you know, good for some. I remember the White Mage one had a fucking coif, which I hate.
Are you talking about the tome gear?
Yes. No, that's not tome gear. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the... Oh, yeah, that was tome gear, wasn't it?
The AF2 was tome gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That's what you're talking about?
I guess that's what I'm talking about. When they...
I mean, that's what I use as my glamour. It's that set.
Yeah. That's that's where the White Mage has like a fucking the
weird head thing.
Yeah.
But wasn't that for the...
It's like a hood. It's a hood, but it has a hat underneath it.
The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my god, finally I can wear the White Mage hood. But no, they made it look like fucking nun's hat. Like, what are you doing?
Try looking at the Goetia hat, Luciel.
Which one is that?
The one that looks like a triangle.
Oh. Yeah, that's the
Black Mage Goetia set, which looks like a jester or something stupid. It's awful.
Is that the moon hat? No, wait, that's
kind of. It comes with the staff's a moon. It looks stupid.
Yeah.
But you know, then it turns into the rod of the Black Khan or whatever.
Yeah.
I gotta say, a lot of their I think the raid gear sets have been really nice lately. Except for XDeath, like Deltascape was bad because it was like the Genji gear, which only looked good on like 2 jobs, and then the rest of it looked like trash.
That where everyone had like the mages had the fucking penis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of lame.
Yeah.
These dunce hats and like weird stuff making stuff look like samurais that shouldn't look like samurais.
Yeah.
And samurai did like the samurai said.
Samurai didn't look like it should have. Yeah, it was super weird.
A tank was more like a samurai than
Right.
an actual samurai.
Yeah.
But the Sigmascape and then now the Alphascape.
Oh, the alpha's beautiful.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
been-
like
it's
the
been
white
beautiful.
mage. I don't like.
I
The
really
white
like the black mage.
It looks it's made for one gender, that white mage
Oh, yeah.
here, so it doesn't.
Well,
look
just
good
be
on my
big,
side.
sexy female appeal.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a big sexy. I don't look big sexy as female.
You should
Rollo.
work on that.
Oh, well.
Become
You know-
big, sexy.
You don't even voice act the characters, so why isn't there a big sexy row chick in your videos?
Oh my god.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. Well, I can't because Secrets takes place in 1.0 and there were no row girls in there.
Well, you could be like, "Hello, I'm Mary Whip's cousin."
Oof.
I'll
Okay, let's move on. What's it like to work on different armor sets for crossover events? The crossover with Monster Hunter World was a whole new experience. It allowed me to play with the famous designs of another company, and that's not a chance that comes along very often. Generally speaking, crossover characters and such are used just as they appear, but for 14, we got to customize them with a Final Fantasy tone, which was an exciting challenge. I found that coming up with designs based on a completely different world and style brought out an essence that isn't present in creations that are wholly my own.
Oh.
And that's good because Rathalos armor looks cool in Monster Hunter,
mhm.
but with the animations we have
Yeah, it
in
wouldn't
this
work.
game, the clipping would be
Yeah.
absolutely awful.
Yeah, I agree. That's and I like the approach because they were still true to the game in the sense that you get the stuff from the mob and then you have the blacksmiths or whatever forge it for you, and that's what
Yeah.
they did here. It's just the craftsmen are Eorzean, so you
It's
get
like,
the
of course, it would
Eorzean.
be the same.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting that they have like a very different opinion. Like because when they're talking about monsters, they're like, well, we really want to like maintain what was,
Yeah.
and then it's like, but they're like, oh, but the armor doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like not that I have an issue with it because I agree. I think it is a cool idea that they made the armor,
Yeah,
but I'm curious
yeah.
why they treat the monsters so much differently.
I
than they
think
do.
I think in this, at least, I think it's a bit special because Monster Hunter was the first time where they made it really their own, and
Mhm.
that's probably
Well, they did do those yokai weapons.
Well, they were good.
But they're
you're
not
right.
like-
That's true.
Like, there's no yokai weapons like in the yokai
Yeah.
game,
Yeah, they had no
that's true,
choice
Robert.
there.
That's true.
Yeah.
And like with the Dragon Quest one, it was just you had the King Slime hat, which is
Yeah.
like King
That
Slime,
was
and then you have the pig helmet, but that's just literally the same thing as it was.
Yeah.
in
And the
Dragon
13
Quest.
crossover is literally just the 13.
just the same weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, there's a couple
Garo
of
was
them.
just Garo armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
that's
true.
respect for Gara.
Well, that's not. No, they made a bunch of new stuff for Garo.
Yeah, the
all the
healer.
a lot of the
used
Makai stuff,
caster
the stuff
gear.
that didn't have names was usually made up.
Yeah, the
Is that-
Makai
Yeah.
stuff.
Like the stuff that has names, like that's like Zero, Dan,
Yeah.
Garo. Those ones were all the sets from the show and movies.
The
or
ones
whatever
with
they
the
are.
the ones that had the
ones
faces. And,
yeah,
yeah.
the ones that were called like Makai blank.
Yeah.
Those were the
Yeah.
sets that were made up.
Yeah, and they look pretty good.
Makai Mauler set.
I
is
liked
so
them.
Good.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
bard one with the butterfly in the hair is cool,
Mhm,
and the black
mhm.
mage lady
The
one.
monk set.
White
is
mage
so
one is
cool.
good because
I
that's where
liked
that's
them.
Those
the
fists, those
headband.
monk fists with the fire on them.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah,
cool.
the monk ones are cool.
Yeah.
I like the invisible shield. That's
Oh,
for some
yeah.
reason
Yeah.
tied to the event for
Yeah.
Paladin. That was weird.
Too.
Right. Do you have a lot of creative freedom when it comes to adapting? Oh god, sorry. Do you have a lot of creative freedom when it comes to adapting other properties to fit into the world of Final Fantasy XIV? We've had a high degree of freedom with most of the crossovers we've done so far, and we've been allowed to create our own designs based on the worlds and themes of the properties we're working with. This is especially true for gear that players can equip, which we often adapt for use in 14. Well, considering other games don't tend to have items like an Astrolosian's globe, it can actually make things kinda difficult without a few changes.
That's very true.
Yeah. Also, Yoshida and the development team craft the world of Final Fantasy XIV with a very particular touch, and we don't want to cram in crossover characters or items that clash too much with that atmosphere. It is important that we avoid introducing elements that serve to ruin player immersion. I know what's coming.
Hey, Cloud?
Mm.
Hey, somebody found your bike in Eorzea?
Mm.
I think that contradict yourself completely, like 100%.
Basically,
say that-
everyone in this game ruins my immersion.
They don't mean that shit at all. That's such
They
a
don't.
garbage.
I mean, that's technically I mean, he's talking about gear here. I think that's how he's saving. No,
I
he
know.
doesn't. No, this is other properties. It's just everything.
Yeah.
But Garo
The
is the
sperm
most
mount.
garish looking stuff.
fucking fire dinner plates,
Yeah.
stupid angel wing costumes,
Naked tanks.
naked tanks.
They
Yeah,
are so selective about like what is and isn't.
They just want us to
immersion
read
breaking.
the interview and just be impressed and then not notice
Yeah.
anything in the game.
it's like they go, well, we don't want to cram stuff in, but if it's on the Monk station, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
So that's fine because it's not. We don't force you to get that.
Yeah, but hello, the fucking Yokai Watch mount. That is the most immersion breaking
Whisper.
thing.
Right.
Whisper of Go-Go is amazing.
I love it, but it's like that's
I don't think that's bad. That it's immersion breaking, honestly.
It's
But
just
it's like,
admit
why do
it.
they say this stuff?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
don't say it. Although the wings may make me feel physically sick.
yes.
If you bought the wings,
Oh yeah, God help you.
We all have a good friend who wears the wings very often.
Yeah, so he's still
not your
talking.
friend anymore.
Oh.
So he's still talking to the armor dude. So he's asking him the same question, kind of. He asked Yoshi-P, if you could pick any franchise to cross over with, which would you pick, and what equipment from that franchise would you want to work on? He says maybe Fist
Huh?
of the North Star.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah,
Rollo.
you are sure.
Oh my god, I was.
Oh,
Oh,
Shitaku.
oh.
You are sure.
I'm gonna go to.
I want to die.
You don't know Fist of the North Star?
I want to die. Okay.
It's the dude who's like,
Oh.
what? And he'd like, their heads explode. He's like, oh my wa, shinderu. Nani?
Oh, is that where the Nani meme is from?
Yeah, you haven't seen that?
I've seen the Nani meme. I didn't
I'm
know where it was
so,
from.
Sorry that you guys have cameras,
I'm so yeah.
so you have to be seen with this,
Do you
this
not-
guy.
You guys are so fucking
you-
lame. How do you not know, like, Fist of the North Star?
Even if I knew it, I wouldn't start singing it.
I
so
didn't. I
aggressively.
expected Rollo to know it, but I did not expect the violent reaction
know.
that he got to
but
that.
The theme song is so
Bring
good.
back Orange.
Oh.
Bring it back. At least all
You
he ever
Are
did was get
Shocked
his
is
dog
such
on
a good
stream.
song. You guys are no fun. All of you are no fun. Fuck all of you.
Okay. Okay. Let's.
I'd be down for that crossover, by the way. They could do some cool like wasteland stuff.
Yeah.
Fist of the North Star. It just looks like Mad Max, basically.
God, you're so enthusiastic.
Can we move
Why
on?
you-
He just okay. That's fine. That's fun.
Why
Nani?
can't you be this enthusiastic about Final Fantasy XIV?
Okay, let's move on. It would only have equipment for monks, machinists, and warriors. And then he laughs. So I'm guessing that's a joke for you, Rollo.
Oh yeah, because
Is
it's
that
like
funny?
a wasteland show.
I see.
They have like it looks like Fallout or Mad Max.
Right.
I can't believe that happened.
Let's move on from whatever the fuck just happened.
I just
Uh,
blacked out for a little while, to be honest.
What has been so
No
now we're
fun.
talking to Koji Fox, the best dude. What has been the biggest localization challenge? I love how they just open with this, like the biggest question you can ask Koji Fox. What's been the biggest localization challenge in 14? I think
Wow.
he's not mentioning it here, but I mean, Horsefont? Anyways, Koji Fox.
Porchy.
When working on a game of this size, every aspect of the job can prove a challenge. However, if I could only name one, it would have to be maintaining a high yet sustainable level of quality and consistency, despite being under the constraints of a brutal schedule. The Final Fantasy XIV writers pump out a medium-sized game's worth of text every 3 months. It's our job in localization to make sure that the text does not only get translated and quality tested on time, but that it is accurate, and that the style, terminology, and characterization are consistent with the tens of thousands of lines of dialogue that came before. Like, we don't really think about it that much, but my goodness, there's a lot of text in every patch. Like,
There is.
new items, new MSQ, new side quests, Like there's
Just new random NPCs standing there.
Yes.
Like so
Like,
much. Yeah.
so much. And there's a lot of work for the localization team. Also for the people that write this initially too, like the Japanese writers. Normally, this would be a near impossible task, but having the opportunity to work alongside the development team here in Tokyo makes our jobs a lot easier than it would be if we worked remotely. The Japanese language can be very vague at times, with context playing a large role in comprehension. There's no plural form for nouns. Both the subject and object of a sentence can be omitted, etc. Being able to walk over to a writer's desk and ask her the intent behind a certain line of dialogue means that there is less guesswork on our side. That, and working together, means we can constantly keep an eye on each other's work, which ultimately prevents unseemly deviation. Did he didn't really... Did he...
No.
I mean, I feel like he also is like kind of leaving out the fact that he gets to write some of it in English, which helps him out a lot too.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to make these great puns in like Japanese first and then
Right.
translate them to English. He's
Well, he
like,
did.
"Nah, I'm just gonna
Didn't he,
reference."
in an interview we covered before, he did say that was like one of the main, most difficult things is when they did a pun in Japanese, it wouldn't make sense in English.
I feel like he's totally. Have you seen some of the Fate names? Could you imagine translating that into Japanese? I
Right.
think he's being a little hypocritical.
Well, no, because
No.
there's, like,
it's written in Japanese first, and then
Yeah.
Koji Fox will have to
Well,
translate
there's
that
some
to English.
things. There's some things that Fates are named after that are certainly referencing one small thing that's a very American. You know, like there's a lot of like references to like 80s
And that's
American
what he
music and
said in that
stuff.
interview. Sometimes when the Japanese text makes no sense to translate,
Mhm.
he sort
Just
of
make up a
gets
new
free
one.
reins. So that's
Yeah.
when he, does what he does.
I mean, that's fine. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So he's got a little bit of an advantage because he actually gets to make some stuff. Because he's more of a writer than a lot of translators usually are,
Yes, right.
Like a lot of times translators are just like, I have to write what they wrote in Japanese to English, where he gets to move stuff around, make
Mhm.
stuff up,
Yeah.
helps build. I mean, he helps build the world lore. So I mean, it's not like he.
Yeah. He's
He
also
has
like very passionate about making everything make sense
Yeah.
within the world, even though it is like the quest names are puns. But he's
Right.
He like I love the one interview where he talked like so passionately about the leave plates, like the quest text for the leaves, and that's the first time I was like, well, yeah, you're right. There's actually lore in the leaves.
Those leaf plates are like there's like a solid paragraph of
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a lot of
man.
lore
I
in the
haven't read
leaves.
them. I don't know.
Yeah. Was there any dialogue that proved particularly challenging to translate for Western audiences? In the 5 years since its relaunch, the amount of text featured in the English language version of 14 has ballooned to over 5 million words, or to put it in perspective, more than 5 times the entire Harry Potter series combined.
Dude, I read a lot of books, I can say now.
That's not how it works, but okay.
I can say that I've read the entire Harry Potter series combined.
5 times.
As I mentioned before, the sheer volume of text we get is often the biggest challenge there is to tackle. That said, some smaller, particularly vexing past episodes the localization team has encountered include having to match Japanese lip flaws in voice
Lip
cutscenes with lip flaps in voice
That's very
cutscenes.
accurate.
Without having the English voice actors sound like. They are channeling Captain Kirk.
Japanese
gotta go.
flaps.
They are channeling
Yeah, I didn't
Captain Kirk.
want to do that. Having to thank you, Yas. Having to translate an entire conversation about a certain person without using pronouns which would reveal that person's gender, despite the fact that the two people holding the conversation both know the person's gender, and still have it to sound natural.
I can't believe he just did that.
That's definitely a weird thing to like try and work around.
Yeah.
Because you got like in Japanese, you'll have words like, "Oh yeah, this is this person," but without revealing their gender.
Yeah.
Well, maybe stop projecting.
Are there any bits
Just
of
kidding.
oh my god, are there any bits of I'm holding back coughs, people. That's what's I'm not having like a acid
Oh, gosh.
reflux. Are there any bits of localization that you're particularly proud of, whether it's for their creativity or the story behind localizing them? We love that the development team allows us the freedom to sneak in Easter eggs, bad puns, and obscure and not so obscure pop culture references as we see fit. Things that have no bearing on the in-game story or lore, such as achievement names, are fair game. So we use these as an opportunity to pay tribute to our favorite movies, music, Final Fantasy games, or just games in general, and whatnot. Over our Realm Reborn's lifespan, we've probably managed in several thousand, for better or for worse.
I like how they're for better and for worse.
Yeah,
They're definitely for better.
let's never forget.
He actually includes like 2 of my favorite ones.
Yeah, here are some.
Yeah.
My personal groan-worthy favorites, and surprisingly all center upon a certain muscular Austrian. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
That's always been one of my favorites.
Get to the
Yeah.
chopper! And I need your clothes, your boots, and your broom.
And that's who isn't like, that's just amazing, obviously.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. How does You're welcome.
Localization.
You good?
No, I am.
How does localizing a Final Fantasy title differ from other franchises? Does a distance from real-world culture differences make it easier or more difficult?
The unique cultures and settings featured in the Final Fantasy series can prove both a blessing and a burden when it comes to localization. On one hand, we are not bound by real-world preconceptions. We are free to break boundaries and try new things, experiment, create, and have fun in a world that has been specifically crafted for this game and its story. On the other hand, we are somewhat bound by real-world preconceptions, seeing as much of what makes up this new world is based off of people, places, things, and concepts that are drawn from human history here on Earth, from the name of a summon to the socio-political background of an evil empire. I believe the Final Fantasy series is at its finest when it creates a world that feels both fresh and familiar, and it's up to us to make sure that it is achieved in our foreign language versions as well.
Yeah. I mean, just be like that. Like, you ever play a fantasy game and they're like, here's something we have in Braille. It's like, why would you call it Braille? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Braille's name's the person who invented it. And
Yeah.
it
You
does,
should call it like bumpy text.
I mean, it's fine because like you can't do anything about it.
Right.
Yeah, like, it obviously is a little strange. It's like, well, they use basically English.
Yeah.
You know, like Eorzean is, it's different letters, but it's also clearly based just on exactly like 1-for-1 hour letters, like
Mhm.
English letters.
Yeah.
So it's like they do have a good way of balancing it, because like everyone feels special when they read Eorzean for the first time,
Yeah.
even though in reality they're just reading English.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, but it has that fantasy element. So it's always like, oh man, like I've cracked the code. I feel like I get it, you know, and you feel like super into the universe. It's like it's a smart way of doing it.
Yeah.
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 Like it still has to make sense to us. So like it
Of
has
course,
to be like
yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's just like,
yeah.
It's just like when you make like an alien game, all the aliens speak English, and it's like obviously that wouldn't be the case, but how are you supposed to do it?
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to play the game?
Yeah. Yeah, that's that was the interview from MonsterVine. Very
Thanks, MonsterVine.
Yeah, not
That was kind of boring.
Thanks.
yeah.
What? No, I like it.
It's basically
Line.
the equivalent to like a FanFest panel where they're just talking
Sure,
about yeah.
I don't know. I like hearing about the
The lore
potential
stuff.
this is the North Star crossover.
Yeah,
Totally
you would like that.
Oh
I
god,
would.
don't do it again.
Don't do it again.
What's
It
Rob.
was
the anime
nice
opening
hearing
to it?
from the armor designer, because that guy, you know, who the hell is he?
Right.
Never see him around.
Yes.
So it's good to get him involved. And Koji Fox, I always like talking about him.
I always like listening
It's
to him,
always
yeah,
nice.
that's true.
Obviously Yoshi-P seems to have lost his mind, and he just like
Yeah,
it's just
Yoshi-P. Like
repeating
we
himself
need
over
a
and over again.
special episode just analyzing Yoshi-P because I think he's about to.
I don't know if that's a good
He
idea.
has just lost his mind.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Why not? That'd be.
So if you look on frame 473, you'll
You can
see
actually
Clearly,
see
it looks like
that-
he might be developing bipolar
Yeah,
tendencies.
yeah.
I'm
He's
it's
a sociopath.
Why would you do that to
Um,
someone?
The mind of Yoshi-P.
Jeez.
We get millions of views. I'm telling you. Right. let's read some MogMail, I guess. We'll go.
It's time for MogMail of the week.
That's
a
nice.
nice little
jingle. I'll skip number 1. It's too big. We'll save it for next week.
Okay.
So
It's 2 pages.
yeah,
to be
it's
fair.
very long.
Wow.
Oh my god, it goes on. Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
Next week. This one's from Destra Yggdralim from Exodus.
Destra.
Firstly, I want to thank Speakers of Idland for creating such engaging lore-based content. Roar and Soar feeds my deep love of the world. I like this question. Also, there were many gaps in my ability to play 14, and your Fallen Rise series really helped me maintain my love for the world of Hydaelyn. My question is mainly directed to Lukiel. How did you go about selecting your current speakers? I'm a relative newcomer to the podcast, and since everyone on the podcast have very strong personalities, I'm curious to your vetting process. Thank you all for taking the time to bring an entertaining podcast to us players.
Strong personalities.
I was the only one that was vetted, just straight up.
Yeah, and I feel like we made a mistake.
Yeah.
Joking, Rollo. God.
There has been a
Don't put in
vetting
a grievance.
process every time. The Rollo was the only time there was an actual vetting, like a written vetting process. The only prior vetting process that we had was must not be insane. I think was just we just had to. If
you didn't verify that with me.
Yes, because you were a moderator for a while. That was the vetting process.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we were just checking if you were insane, and you passed the test. But I've
failed it 3 months later. But
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
correct.
In
I
our-
knew when.
yeah, in my
When
next,
it was okay.
in my next series, the Mind of Yas Pot will be
That's millions of views.
yeah millions. No, there was no real vetting process. Now, when if ever there's gonna be a change again, of course there will be a strong vetting process, because just like we had with Rollo, Rollo went through a
that was
pretty
the best
for us
couple of months
very
of my
It took a
strong.
while. You guys took forever to get back. I
We
said
were
Yeah,
so
because we had a lot of thinking
Rollo,
to do.
we were
Rollo.
so scared.
We had to not discuss it for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then discuss it again.
I think
I sent that shit in March, and you guys got back to me October.
Oh my god, you gotta get wow.
I think the problem was we didn't know what we were doing. When we announced it the first time, we were like, we'll just ask for people to join. And
Nobody will really even
Yeah, we're-
it's like not a thing.
fine. And then we get
Yeah.
20 applications, and I'm like, how do we get through these? And so on the fly, we had to make
I will
the
say
rules.
that Mela, you did a lot of work. You did a lot of scheduling and made all those graphs and everything.
Mhm, mhm.
I
So
really enjoyed
you really,
interviewing
you-
people.
I feel like it might have been longer.
Myla
but no.
loved the interview process.
Oh, it was so fun.
much so that Mala recently asked if could we just do something where we had to interview people.
Yeah,
So
it was so good.
we'll
Do you remember your interview, Rollo?
I did.
I
You were
swear to
so
you.
There was a fake podcast.
One day we're gonna show that.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna show that fake first
Oh,
episode
God,
with
yeah.
Rollo. Maybe in the post show. Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't being weird yet. He was trying to hide his weirdness.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
being so
So we can
normal.
see
He's
I
talking
was
about
still
fist
just
Rollo.
as weird.
He wasn't talking about Fist the North Star, I'll tell you that much.
What?
Yeah.
You guys are such fucking normies. God, it's Fist of the North Star. Everyone knows that.
Oh.
We weren't talking about that foot of the West Sun or whatever you talked about. I don't know what it is.
What the fuck?
I
are
can't
we
believe this.
on? Yeah. So yeah, that's the.
Man,
whole
if
thing.
anyone wants to be
Yeah.
interviewed by me, send me a DM.
I'll just interview you for a
just
job. You're not
interview
gonna
we
get.
were talking about maybe at some point rebooting the website, and that would probably require an interview, Mala. So
That is
Oh.
true, yeah. If you want, yeah.
yeah, so maybe stay tuned for a possible interview with Mala. I'll be there as well. I was like the scary
Yeah, everyone's
person in the
there,
interview.
but
Roll it
I lead.
if you were, I don't know if anyone who was part of the initial process are still watching, but there was an audio interview at first where Mala would lead the interview, but I would be in there as well as that
Mhm.
that boss that's just observing in the background. I rarely said anything, and
Mhm.
I remember we were in one, and I thought, oh my god, what if because this person's probably very nervous. if I say anything or ask any questions now, they will think that I'm like not like
Yeah.
I don't like them and I want to like dig more. So I thought I shouldn't say anything.
I remember that. You did that whole
Oh,
one
really?
interview without saying anything, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You know
This
what,
was I
that's-
think this was in the preliminary stuff. Like this wasn't with like when
No,
we were doing it on the podcast
Not the
episode.
short list.
Yeah.
No. This
Yeah,
the
it was just
initial
a
ones.
quick one.
Yeah, this was the initial ones where we just hopped on
Just to have a
just
chat.
We
a
had
few
2
minutes.
audio interviews, didn't we? We had
Yeah, I think it was 3 interviews overall.
yeah.
We had one where we like just had a quick chat to see what they were like. Then one where it was a bit more in depth. Then we had the fake podcast episode one, which was so well done.
Yeah.
That was a really good idea.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it was so
Yaz
clever.
didn't
'cause
show up for my second interview, by the way. Fuck you, Yaz.
He was
That's true.
probably way busy.
uh,
God.
We basically made them on the fly, almost on the fly, come up with a great discussion topic,
Yeah.
and then we'd discuss it with them.
they got like a 1 week notice, didn't
Yeah.
you, to come up with a great discussion. But
Yeah.
we did have a cop out. So if you didn't come up with one, we would
Yeah,
just
we always
use
had a
one.
backup one for
Yeah.
you if you were. But obviously that would be.
I think
not
everyone
great.
provided one. So
Yeah.
right.
You
Rollo's-
guys already used mine. I'm not gonna say what it was, but it was a discussion.
I
Yeah.
can't even remember it. Maybe we should look at it in the post show. We'll
Yeah,
see.
that's
We'll
all
see.
I
We'll
mean,
see, Rollo.
sure.
Okay. Let's let's move on to the next one. This one's from who? Oh boy. Okay, this one
Oh,
ties
man.
into. Does it tie in? Okay, let's do this one. This one's from Red Mansley from Big Old Dragon Daddy server.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm assuming that's Midgard Stormer. Hello
Ah.
there. I've been watching for a while, so you guys may have answered these questions. That's a weird sentence. I've been watching for a while, so you guys may have answered these questions before.
That's the wrong way.
Well, one suggestion and a question, that is. I'm pretty sure you have brought up doing the 8-man raids as minimum item level episodes before, but previously you also mentioned possible guests for the show. Maybe minimum item level would be the thing to have guests in, and possibly doing the 24-man raids as well. As for the question, it's about player retention rate past the Realm Reborn. So 2 very different...
Very disparate.
Yeah.
questions.
As for the question, it's about player retention rate past the Realm Reborn. I think Yoshida mentioned working on content in a Realm Reborn to make it more new player friendly. Other than moving some MSQ quests to being side quests, what other ways do you think could help new players get past the slog and stay interested enough to get to Heavensward? I've seen many people drop off at this point and never return to the game, and I think it may be important to work on these areas to keep the game growing. Thank you for your time and keep up the good work. Should we start with you know what? Let's start with the last question because that's the main. No, let's start with the last one.
I
do you
would
think?
say add story before like level 40. Like you do nothing.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because you do
I would
literally nothing until like the Garlean stuff actually kicks into motion.
Yeah.
for 2.0, you need to cut the amount of quests in half.
If not more. If you're including the patches after, probably more than half.
Yeah, well,
Dude.
yeah, but just for base game too, though. Like, there's a lot of just
Oh, it's so
shit.
much.
I just cannot again emphasize how bad the post 2.0 story quests are.
It is.
There's so many, and a lot of them are just have no relevance to the story plot. It's just like go here, and then the most infuriating one, which I keep bringing up, they have removed the Guildhest one, but you still have to do fucking Karn just randomly during a level 50 quest, and it's just Karn. It's like it's not a special story instance Karn. It's Karn.
It's not Karn
It's
hard.
Duty Finder Karn. So
Yeah.
I don't know what that's all about, but it kind of shows the mentality back then where they were like, we have to just push out whatever, just make
Well,
content.
I also think back then they were like, we need we'll feel bad giving them an hour of MSQ
Yeah,
or 2 hours of MSQ. So they're like, we'll just make it a day and a half, but
Mhm.
by making it full of garbage.
yeah,
Like if we just dump trash into the MSQ, it'll last longer. So it's like, okay, let's do that then.
yeah.
And then people were like, this is really bad. And then they just like the thing is there was good stuff in those patches, of course.
Mhm,
There was
of
really
course,
good
yes.
like, but you forget about it. Like, the whole
Condensed.
Sahagin thing was
Yeah.
so cool,
Yeah.
but I forget about it because there's 8 years of garbage on both sides,
Mhm.
and it's like it just becomes not memorable anymore. You
If-
know?
Beast saying that there is exactly 100 quests between 2.0 and 3.0.
I vaguely remember the number 100 from when I did it. Yeah.
Cut in half. In half.
Cut
On
it
the
in
same,
half.
yeah,
That's
but
too
on the
many.
same token, I mean, if doing some story quests, I mean, yeah, there's a lot, but if doing some story quests is enough to make you want to quit a game where the only drawing point is its story quests,
That's not the
it's
point,
a
though,
bit
because
weird.
a lot of it isn't exactly story.
It's not
just
super
like,
relevant. No,
oh, here we're
but
picking some fucking stones off the ground.
it's not that bad though.
It is really bad.
There were some
It's
bad
really
points.
bad.
It's
dude.
really
It's-
bad, Mala. You have
It's
to
not
try.
going to take you that.
You thought
done
about the
it.
idea. Have you done it? Yeah, but do it again. Do it again.
I've done it 3 times on
Yeah.
3
Mela,
different characters.
Do it without skipping cutscenes. Then
Yes.
tell me how.
I never skip cutscenes.
You will if you reroll a character now. You'll
Like,
Certainly will.
yeah.
the stuff
I
they make you
didn't-
do in Mordona is
Oh.
so. It's just shit.
Yeah,
It's nothing.
And I think almost the most annoying part is that, I mean, it worked back in A Realm Reborn, but now that you know that the game is currently taking place in Stormblood, you were eager to move on to Heavensward from A Realm Reborn, and they
Yeah, that's
start
true.
alluding to Ishgard in 2.4, but there's like 30 quests until you get to the initial Heavensward quest, and they are long and terrible.
And here's the weird thing, because for me, back in like 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, I actually wasn't finding myself disliking the MSQ at that point.
Uh-huh.
Like as it was coming out,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't like,
Well,
this
yeah.
is awful.
I didn't complain
Just
about
do it as
it.
you come out. And
Right.
that's fine. Like, I
So
mean, it's
I
a lot
think-
of shit still, but
Right. So I think Mela, if you had if you had not been doing it like with it for at least a portion of it,
Yeah.
it's a lot different. It's pretty bad upon replaying. It's
Yeah.
awful.
it's
Maybe.
like. Well, first off, for the base game, you don't have to do the Company of Heroes shit. It
Right.
doesn't need to be that long. There's no point in it
Right.
being. That's just padding time.
Yeah.
The Sylph stuff too. Also long.
Yeah, cut that off. Just do the
Ah.
dance shit is bullshit. I know that they
Like-
have to do it because it's tied to Totorak, so they have to the Sylph quest has to be there obviously for world building.
Yeah,
but
like you can still have
there's
the
a
main
lot of
like
filler
beats
quests
there,
Yeah,
but they don't have to be that long.
right.
And it's I would say the same thing is like the pre-Titan stuff, like getting the cheese and the wine. Again, that's fine, but
Yeah.
it takes you 15 quests to get a bottle of wine.
Yes.
And it's all fetch quests. And then
Yes.
and then like of course, I think it's a good idea to have you run Brave Flocks to get some cheese. I'm okay with that. That's fine. But again, it shouldn't be 10 quests of setup along with the 15 other quests. And then it's like,
right.
oh, hey, by the time, like now, currently, with like all the buffs to the XP, now by the time you get to Titan, just from doing the 30 quests that come before Titan, you're
Yeah.
5 levels above Titan.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you have to remember that at the time, without the buffs, you needed that many quests to level, so they had to find a way of
Right.
fitting
Right.
them in.
Yeah,
But-
but
but
we're not
you
in that
can
time anymore.
trim the fat now, exactly.
Yeah.
We don't need
Yeah.
that anymore.
It's again the thing
Yeah.
where it worked back then, but right now people want to play Stormblood, and when they're rolling a new character, they still have to do the exact the
Man.
filler quest from 2013.
If you just start the game and only want to play Stormblood, you're in for disappointment, guys. It's
Exactly.
the worst expansion pack in the game.
Oh.
Play the first stuff first. So
Well,
when
the
you
thing
get
is
Stormblood,
too,
you can be super disappointed.
Here's Mela saying that
Trash.
2.1 is better than 4.4.
There you go. There you go.
but
better than
the thing is too
4.1.
is that like
That's the Mela we know. and
Mila
love.
has the biggest rose-tinted glasses in the world. They're
Oh,
so
yes.
big. They're filling the entire room.
Oh yeah,
They're not rose tinted.
they're like
correct
blood
colour.
red tinted.
Yeah,
they're like
Yeah.
they're not even
Hell, they're
rose.
full
They're-
Elton John.
you can't even see through them. They're painted.
but
Yeah.
I just think that Heavensward doesn't have this problem. I mean, there's some filler in Heavensward, but I was never like okay, I get it. Get on
That's
with
good.
it.
It's the best expansion.
But whatever. But I don't think that. Well, I was going back through it too on like my second character because I just went through all of it all at once,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't get that feeling of like get on with it. I get it.
Yeah.
So I think they can do it to base game 2.0 whatever.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who loves lore, A Realm Reborn story is good, but it needs condensation. You need to condense it a bit more because don't want to pick up 4 million
Yeah.
items for no
There's a
reason.
reason. There's a reason I got to level 47 and then bought a story skip because it was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not even sure. I'm almost at 50. I'm nowhere. I have
Right.
a week still
Yeah.
of fucking garbage to go through.
Yeah.
Or I'm even
Yeah.
in heaven's world.
Also have to point out that the story, as in chat saying, the cutscenes aren't, for the most part, not even voiced for the
No.
most.
Oh yeah, that's
A Realm
So,
Reborn is
this
almost
is-
void of voice acting. Like,
This is what I've been telling people. Like, I've had friends who have started playing the game recently,
Mhm.
and they go, dude, what's going on with the story? It's not
Yeah.
interesting. You told me it was really, really good. And I'm like, it is really, really good at about level 40.
yeah.
Well, 45, maybe.
Yeah.
And I was just like, listen to the first line of voice act. Listen to the first line. If it's not voice acted, skip the cutscene.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I was like, once you get to Heaven's Word, everything will be voice acted anyways. You won't skip any more cutscenes.
Yeah.
You'll get right back on board.
yeah.
But it's like, I'm not going to tell someone to put up with that because it's not. They're going to get bored and they're going to quit the game. I'd rather them play.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's
be a little more confused.
Number
and,
one
you
issue
know,
for new players is that they fall off before they even get to Heaven's Word, which is where the
Mhm.
game sort of
where
starts to take
will
off.
hold their attention.
Yes.
I
So they
think do Square Enix actually have like metrics on this though, and are they aware of it being an issue?
They
I'm
probably
sure,
do.
I'm sure
I'm
they
sure.
do.
Because
they-
if they're
they
aware of it,
acknowledge it, at
it's a
least.
genuine like, if the number of people who play the game is suddenly all just endgame players,
yeah.
then they're gonna have to do something about it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But if like the majority of people who pick up the game now still just happily play through it or buy skips, they're not going to change it, are they?
They have brought this up before, so I think there are metrics
Yeah.
telling them that this is happening. And I mean, I'm sure all of us have experienced players just disappearing before they even get to like certain parts of
Oh yeah.
14.
I hate
Mhm.
being that guy that says, "Oh no, just keep playing. It,
Yeah.
it gets good." Like I
Right?
hate saying that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
And it
It
sucks
gets good
because
eventually.
it sucks because you're saying that to someone who's on 2.1 and you're
Yeah.
saying and you just know that
Yeah.
it's gonna fucking take forever, but I just have to keep saying it. Maybe you won't fall off. They
It'll
almost
pick up.
always do.
2.5.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
promise.
You only have 70 more quests to do. It's very, very quick.
Ah.
Yeah.
I hate saying it gets better later for anything.
It is.
Yeah,
It's the worst.
It
I
is.
agree.
It is.
Makes you sound like
But it's true.
it makes you
though.
sound like a delusional fanboy. Is what it
It's-
does.
it's-
It makes you
yeah,
sound like, it's like,
exactly.
I like this because I don't have a reason, but it gets good later. It's like
It's the same
Yeah.
argument as saying, "Oh, but this game sucks." Yeah, but it's got really good PvP. To me, that's
Right.
the same thing. Like I'm
it's
trying
like when
to.
people.
The rest of the
It's like
game
when people talk about
doesn't
13.
work.
Gets good in chapter
Yeah,
13.
yeah.
It gets good in chapter 12. It's like that's
Yeah,
that's 70 hours into the game, dude.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna know.
Okay. So the first part of the question was minimum eye level. I saw this being brought up when we talked about guests and stuff and collabs and stuff on the channel. That's sort
yeah.
of the only show that we have where that maybe could work, but then it would only work on like 8-man and 24-man content.
And it would only work with Europeans.
Would it?
Because
Or people on the EU server, yeah.
people
Oh,
on EU
that's
servers.
true.
Because
You're
who's
right.
gonna have like if it's somebody American or Australian or
yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
or something,
I
make
think
them a new
because
character.
We could just jump a character though to
You guys need to step
60.
it up and
I mean-
have a character in every data center like me. So
We can't all
I
be
do.
as good as you, Rollo.
Except for
Uh,
Primal, because Primal sucks. But
Wow.
I'm on Primal 2, baby.
Shots fucking
Get at me.
fired.
I mean, we've done 24-man's mid-eye level synced.
Yes.
Doing the raids is
Yeah, we
fine,
did
but
that.
I don't know if it's very good content having an additional 4 people talking over each other.
let's have 24 people.
Because if it,
mic'd
oh
up.
god, 24 people would just be
No,
chaos.
not
Let's do it. Let's do it.
If we were to do like 24 mans, I think it'd just be like one party
Yeah.
filled with like guests and us.
I think
8
that's
people's a lot,
I think
man.
That's
there's
a lot.
here's some feedback for minimum eye level when we did the 24-man. We have to be on the same team because nothing makes sense when we're on different teams because we're talking about
That's
shit that's
also
happening
true.
on the other team and stream can't see it. So
yeah, that's a fair
for
point,
next
yeah.
time we should probably try to be on the same team.
Or are we
Right.
gonna have the popularity contest where people join our
Yeah,
We can
because that means anyone
still-
on Alliance B and C are just sad.
Let's
'cause they've
just
not
bring
got
a big
cool boy.
parser up and make it a
Just
toxic
straw poll.
stream. Yeah. Right.
Alliance B is the best. You
We have no plans for that at the moment. So
I like the idea, but I worry that 8 people is a lot of people to have talking.
well, I don't think we would have 4 additional guests on. We would only have.
But I also
one.
think it'd be really weird just bringing one person on and have an 8-man party of like everyone who like people who watch the show in the party, but then do we just bring one of them in to talk?
And then you kill Alexander Normal in like 45 seconds, and you're like, okay, bye.
Well,
yeah, that was good.
We would have.
We're gonna have to do like full tiers in one session.
Yeah.
I think the best way for like 24-mans would be like, okay, we're gonna have 3 alliances with like one like multi-stream it too or something.
Well,
like,
we can.
Well, I mean, they'll stream their end, we stream our end.
Oh, that works. Okay.
We could like bring in a new person every pull. Just swap them out again. Like, hey guy,
hello guy.
You got the trash pull, so you're not gonna get to. Oh, bye. Now you get your 5 minutes. Speak up. What do you here talk about this morning? Okay.
Right.
Do like a radio
also,
show?
of course, there's the issue of I don't think anyone wants to join minimum eye level. So there's that.
Yeah,
we don't have any friends. Remember we talked last week about how we don't have any friends?
Yeah, we don't have any friends.
There's no friends of Speakers of Idolin.
No. So
all I got is me and my timber.
I burnt all those bridges. Okay.
That's gone. And
I've just got
even prior to that, there was no. We don't have any connections outside of Speakers. So
I mean, we can bring Orange back.
That's true. We can bring Orange back. Yeah.
Bring him back again.
But that's the only bridge we've got.
And that tells you a lot about Speakers Network. Okay.
It's the smallest fucking network I ever.
It is a network of 4 people. Right.
But God, we're close.
Yeah.
What's the next question?
Yeah.
Rollo got uncomfortable suddenly.
What? No.
That was.
As the guy who's willing to sing some.
Okay.
You guys have no taste.
Let's see. We have about 5 minutes left. I don't think we can. Oh, I can read the one from Yogi because it's for Mala. So I'll just read that for you. Hello. Don't have an overlay for it. I didn't have time. Hello, Speakers. I have many questions today. All of them relate to the shining beacon that is Mal of Anadar. Why is he in a library? Why is Tataru celebrating in his radiance? What compelled Lukiel to Photoshop the face of Sylvester Stallone to Mala's character? The reveal of Mala Stallone during the post-show some months back remains one of the funniest events to occur during a Speaker's stream. It is possible that there are no answers to any of my questions. Some things are just to remain wondrous mysteries of the universe. However, isn't it in the nature of any dutiful adventurer to ask such questions, to seek such answers? Thank you for the podcast and keep up the great work. P.S. Rollo, thank you for the concert the other night. I'm assuming that was my sick day.
I played Despacito on the bongos.
Right. Okay, so I'll try to answer the... Library, it feels like a meme that's lost on me, and it might have been lost already when I photoshopped it in. Because
it is a library from 14 though, right?
No, that's not. That's a real ass library.
It's not even a texture.
I can't remember why I'm in a library.
I can't remember anymore. I think it's a reference to your old free company. I think it might be that deep because that was named Lore. Wasn't it?
Oh, it was, yeah.
I think that's what that's trying to be there.
Folklore.
Yeah.
I always thought it was because he's wearing like the Shire coat or whatever in that.
Could be that as well.
Could be.
And it just like reminds me of like Charlotte.
Was the original picture made by Orange?
Not that one.
Not this one.
The original one. No, he made that really horrible one with like Nidhogg in the.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That is where Tataru came from, though.
Yeah, he did the Tataru.
Because this Tataru came from that other picture where Tataru was also in it.
Yeah, well, the Tataru was the crying one in the original.
That's true.
There was two.
Oh yeah, he had the one with the sandwich.
One in the background.
Yeah.
This one with what's that? Who's that old man? Isn't there like an old man in the background of one of them?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Shit. All these old memes, I've already
You've
forgotten.
Probably still got it somewhere, Lucio.
Yeah, I'll try to find it in the post show. It's just I can't look for it now, but yeah,
right. Just want to the raptor, right?
Yes.
That's how I look. It's a bit rude to say god awful.
What are you on about, raptor?
Do you remember I have revealed my face on the?
Oh,
April
you're
Fool's
right.
stream?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You
Really,
are
that's rude.
dinosaur face.
Which does require a camera, doesn't it?
Yep.
It does.
So he did do a face reveal.
Mhm,
Yeah.
It's just-
mhm. If you look
Mm.
really closely, you'll see him there.
Yeah.
in-
If you look in its eyes.
yeah, look
You
at
at
his
least
eyes.
get the way his mouth moves.
That's true. Well, it's a raptor mouth. So
I think almost all of this picture was orange because he loved Stallone.
no.
No,
This
this was
picture is
out after.
entirely me.
No,
But
but
the
you know,
Stallone
he's-
thing is a joke that ran like that we had Mela and Orange and I. That was just a running joke.
Yeah.
That was never brought up on the podcast at any point.
No, it doesn't make sense.
because
really, to me.
Orange loved Sylvester Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sylvester Stallone is bad,
Mm-hmm.
and Mela got Sylvester Stallone's face.
I think it's because he was obsessed with knowing what I looked like.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Orange was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
still is.
Yeah, he still is. Yeah.
But he saw you.
I gave up. I gave
He's
up.
never seen me.
Never.
Oh, but I thought you guys met him.
I didn't go there.
Oh,
I had the pleasure of doing
Mel was scared. He
Oh.
wouldn't go there. You
it
kidding me?
was
Thought
just, okay.
Yeah.
that.
he was gonna get skinned. He didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what Tataru is doing in there.
It was orange again. He
I
just,
think that was just a carryover from the old picture.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
why was it in the original picture to begin with? And it was in
'Cause
both.
I thought it
I
was 'cause
like
he didn't like.
Tataru.
Oh, you do?
I thought it was
Okay.
because he
it's
didn't
that
like
simple.
Tataru, but
There you go.
No,
That's
I
some
like
lore.
it because I always posted annoying gifs to Orange of her like crying and dancing.
there was some pretty. Orange did make some good.
Orange was a
ones,
meme lord.
though. He definitely was.
He was a meme too.
Yeah, true. The meme
The
lord became the
legend.
meme.
yeah. So update the speakers wiki with that lore. Make sure you do that.
Yeah,
Once you
make
get
sure
on
you're taking
Wikia.
notes, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time for the minimum high level dungeon.
Oh.
Which one?
Hey, I want to let you guys know I'm level 61 on Warrior now.
Wow.
Wow,
And
wow,
before
wow.
we pull a level 71.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
it's
there's no
mostly
more
level
level 60.
Yeah, there
there's
is no level
60
61.
dungeons
That's
left.
true. Oh,
And we
boy.
did Siren Song, so I still can't use it no matter what.
We're going to.
Please be Bottom's metal.
gonna be
It is
Bottom's
Bardam's Metal. Hey!
There's zero chance I'm getting to 65.
love the
Right.
dinosaur.
Yes. Work hard.
Work hard?
Yeah. Work hard. Play harder.
Oh,
What does that
work
mean?
hard, play harder.
Means
That's
get to level 65 by tomorrow evening.
yeah. Go on. Okay, let's
What,
pull
work?
the wheel. As they
I don't
say.
know, man. It's hard work.
What is work?
Oh,
Spent.
you know.
It's what do we do every day.
Put on the opening to Fist the North Star while it's spinning.
No, do the ending for that house thing. Full house.
Oh,
Oh,
yay.
That's
Fuck.
gonna be fun.
I always love no
Fucking hate
HUD.
no HUD.
We would have died any other way, by the way.
Yeah.
There's
Probably.
no other way that we would have won that dungeon. Maybe no GCDs would have been okay. No, because I have no cooldowns. We would have
You
died no
keep
matter
saying
what.
that every time, but we never really do.
Have you been
We've
into
never
Bardam's
died.
Metal?
I have been.
Yeah, fun.
I may have been in Bardam's Metal.
It's
so required for the main
story quest.
Do you remember how much tanks die in there?
Do you know how difficult it is to
actually, no.
tank? Every
Bad
No,
tank.
minimum
I
high
think
level
tanking
ever.
is easy
Yeah,
as shit, dude.
baddies.
Yeah.
Don't be a baddie.
Then you forget the fucking incredible healer that you have with you.
But yeah, we're gonna die.
I want you to clip that right there and then just place that right after he fucks up every mechanic in the second boss. Oh, I panicked. Oh, I
Okay.
got confidence. I looked in the eye. Oh.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Stroking my cat. That's how you sound to me.
Thank you for watching Speakers of Adlin.
Goodbye.
Remember to follow. Remember to follow us on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, YouTube.com/SpeakersXIV, Twitch.tv/SpeakersOfAdlin. If you were watching live, !Discord to join our Discord server, and
Send us MogMail!
SpeakersXIV.com/MogMail. Remember to stay tuned for the post show coming up, and we'll be looking at Rollo's interview.
Maybe.
Maybe if I can find it.
Oh, show the video of me with Obama.
Oh yeah, that one too.
That's a teaser for you.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.